In his very famous work, Preface to Shakespeare, he expresses his admiration for Shakespeare in not few words. So he regards Shakespeare's works as a reflection of general human nature. So we saw earlier how Dr. Johnson admired and he valued directness and uh, straightforwardness in poetry. And it is this same attitude which led him to value Shakespeare's works because he thought that Shakespeare's characters were three dimensional, they were not unidimensional, they were not larger than life characters, they were not heroes, but they were human beings. Shakespeare's characters, according to Dr. Johnson, were people, were human beings that the audience could relate to because they had flaws in them, they made mistakes, sometimes they made wrong decisions and they suffered for their decision making. Sometimes they were very brave, sometimes they failed. The people who loved them, who trusted them. So they were absolutely like the people we come across in real life. And all his plays were a reflection of general human nature. So he liked the fact that Shakespeare gave more importance to the human characters in his plays rather than the events or the situations or the plot, which had been the tradition so far. In fact, Shakespeare did not use his characters like props. He allowed his characters, he enabled his characters to take the plot forward, which Dr. Johnson found praiseworthy. And he felt that Shakespeare's characters were universal and individual at once. In other words, his characters could very easily represent a type. So they were true to the profession, the sex, and the age, and the social milieu which they represented. But at the same time, they were very, very individualistic also. They had their own individual qualities, their flaws, their shortcomings, their merits, and their strengths. So that made his characters very interesting and deep. And he felt that Shakespeare's works gave a philosophy of life that was of great practical worth. People could actually have tangible takeaways after watching Shakespeare's plays. So they had lessons for life. Unlike the tragedies, maybe written so far, which were so lofty and elevated that ordinary common people could not relate to those tragedies or the predicaments of the characters in the tragedies. He felt that Shakespeare's characters were not exaggerations, they were not larger than life portrayals, and in fact, he found his works to be insightful and uh, offering a deeper and more holistic understanding of human nature.